rise and shine. Coffee's brewing, feeling fine. News is out and on the air. Shizzy whiz nuts wild, but we don't care. Morning whiz and coffee. Talk the news, he's a tease. Laugh it off, we're on the go. Shizzy whiz nuts, start the show. Let's go. Spinning in the breeze, stupid jokes, he's such a tease. Sip the Java with a smile. Pants are off, but stay a while. Morning whiz and coffee. Talk the news, he's a tease. Laugh it off, we're on the go. Shizzy whiz, let's start the show. Let's go. Headlines spinning in the breeze, stupid jokes, he's such a tease. Sip the Java, wear a smile. Pants are off, but stay a while. Morning whiz and coffee. Talk the news, he's a tease. Laugh it off, we're on the go. Shizzy whiz, let's start the show. Let's go. Serious is overrated. Every day we're caffeinated. Talk the town, but in a jest. Morning whiz is always best. Clock is ticking, time to run. Morning show's a load of fun. Grab your mug, don't spill a drop. Laugh your ass off till you pop. Clock is ticking, time to run. Morning show's a load of fun. Grab your mug, don't spill a drop. Laugh your ass off till you pop.
Oh my god, Shizzy breaks Larry. Shizzy broke Larry.
Good morning, everybody. Good to see every single one of you. Debbie Webb, Cynthia Noller, Yvonne Chavez. How are you doing this morning? The ugly trickling. Good morning, y'all. And it does not matter, Cynthia. Does not matter. I saw it. I saw your post. Don't give me one. Don't give me a star. Too late. Too late. You earn that star every single time. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. And she just gifted 5 memberships to all you wonderful, wonderful people. That is so nice of her. Thank you, Cynthia. That is glorious. I am filling this thing up, and you are part of the help of filling this up and making it look great. Absolutely great. Good to see you. Good to see you. Oh, let's see who else we got here. Yoda's mama, how you doing, Bonita? How you doing? Yes, we've got a wonderful crew here this morning. And in case you haven't seen it, Daniel Berry Sports Highlights, the highlights of all your sports. Good morning. How you doing? Hey, Mary, how you doing? Good morning. Oh, yes. And of course, Donna Didson. Morning, everyone. Welcome, welcome. Captain Kern makes starting day off extra strong Java lava. And I do want to say that Karen was absolutely wonderful in getting me a beautiful bag of coffee from her little local watering hole. Thank you so much. That came in last night. I just wanted to thank you again. I'm not having it this morning, but I will be having it soon, just so you know. Good morning, Mary Smith. How you doing? Mm, 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 mm. The coffee is flowing well this morning. Yes, extra strong Java lava. Yes, yes, yes. Well, this morning, let me pull this. I forgot to pull this thing up. Doggone it. Well, we'll just get it up here anyway. This morning's briefing, dare we dream about the lasting improvements in election integrity? From Stephen Cruiser. Top of the morning. If I had deep knowledge of the workings of the Supreme Court, I'd be writing about the kneecapping that the subject of yesterday's briefing, Judge James Boasberg, got yesterday, which Sarah wrote about. Let's see what Sarah had to say. I'm going to open that up in a new tab. Perhaps I can whip up some snark about Justice Amy Coney Barrett's irritating mean girl phase later in the week. Far too long now. American elections have been a hot mess of anomalies, as the defenders of status quo like to put it. You and I, of course, would say deliberate fraud. I would prefer to say something much worse, but this is a family site. There have been, pardon me, questions popping up in elections as far back as I can remember in my voting lifetime, which covers a considerable number of years. Those questions have always been asked by those of us on this side of the aisle. Democrats insist that voter fraud doesn't exist. On the rare occasions that they will cop to the possibility that one even does, they say it's very rare. They seem to not have a real grasp on the definition of rare. In 2020 came along, the election anomalies piled up like horse manure during a stable hand strike. People who don't even pay that much attention to politics were raising their eyebrows. Conservatives who do pay attention to politics wondered if there would ever be another election they could trust. Fortunately, there's some good progress being made in the restoration of some integrity to the election process, as Stephen Green was the bearer of good news in a column that he wrote yesterday. But what about 5 million zombie voters? Imagine the elections they could flip and almost certainly have. Well, you no longer have to. 5 million is the number or fake or ineligible voters removed from the rolls by the good folks at Judicial Watch in just the last few years, with 1 million of them coming from deep blue New York City alone. Makes you wonder just how indigo their mood truly is. Judicial Watch announced last week that its analysis and use of voter registration lists has led to lawsuits and legal actions under the National Voter Registration Act that have resulted in the removal of 5 million names from voter rolls in nearly a dozen states and localities since 2019. First, let me acknowledge the quiet brilliance of the line makes you wonder just how indigo their mood truly is. That's a staggering number. Obviously, and one that makes it fair to wonder how many more of the zombie voters there might be out there. As Stephen mentions, a lot of elections may have been flipped by this non-existent and ineligible part of the electorate. In any state, county, or municipal election with low voter turnout, you might not even need 5 dozen fake votes to do the trick. But when you drill down into the elections like that, it's stunning to see how few votes it actually takes to turn an election on its head. There's some encouraging news about the efforts being made, even in deep blue areas, to shore up the process which we use to elect people, because they can't attract votes with ideas and good policy. Democrats need a steady pipeline of new voters, whether they be alive or dead, and that leads them to say stupid things like legal identification is racist. Democrats can never have an honest conversation about voter integrity because they are so invested in the lies they tell themselves about the need for more of it. They'll keep fighting organizations like Judicial Watch. With any luck, they'll keep losing enough to make a difference. Even in the age of vigorous presidential executive orders, the kind of damage that Biden cabal did wasn't going to be easy to undo. Democrats are quite skilled at placing constitutional time bombs all over the place. The goal is to use an overwhelming volume of sheer treachery to slow down or thwart any future politicians who want to roll back their achievements from shot of vodka. But what about 5 million zombie voters? Imagine the elections they could flip, and almost certainly have. Well, you no longer have, because 5 million is the number of fake or ineligible voters removed from the rolls by the good folks at Judicial Watch. And contributions to the mailbag of magnificence can be sent to cruisermb@gmail.com. But everything isn't awful. Oh, look at that. Kids. Cat's halfway up the wall. Look at that. Oh, little kitten. Little kitten. Get down. Get down. Sometimes it's just easier to go up. Those are so awesome. Down it goes. Down it goes. Go down. Go down. Go down. It's awesome. Awesome. Well, Sarah did write this wonderful story. A win for Trump. Supreme Court makes a decision on use of Alien Enemies Act. Step aside, Judge James Boasberg. The Supreme Court handed the Donald Trump administration something of a win on Monday night when it comes to using the Alien Enemies Act to deport Venezuelan nationals, including violent Tren de Agora gang members. In a 5-4 decision, the court agreed with Trump's appeal to vacate last month's orders from the federal court that halted the administration from removing non-citizens. Essentially, Trump can continue to use the 18th century wartime law, but with a few guidelines. The administration must give the deportees notice of reasonable deportation and in such a manner that will allow them to actually seek habeas relief in the proper venue before such removal occurs. That venue would be in Texas, where these people are currently detained, not in Washington, D.C. The 3 liberal judges, Sonia Sotomayor, Elena Kagan, and Kenji Brown Jackson, dissented in full. But does anyone want to discuss who joined them? It was none other than Justice Amy Coney Barrett, who issued a partial dissent. Barrett contended that her colleague's decision to intervene in this litigation is inexplicable, as it is dangerous. Attorney General Pam Bondi called it a landmark victory for the rule of law, adding that an activist judge in Washington, D.C. does not have the jurisdiction to seize control of President Trump's authority to conduct foreign policy and keep American people and to keep the American people safe. White House Press Secretary Carolyn Levitt appeared on Fox News on Monday night after the decision was announced and called it a massive victory for law and order and for our constitutional republic and the sovereignty of the United States. We called on the Supreme Court to rein on these activist judges like Judge Boasberg, who was completely out of line in trying to say that the president didn't have the executive authority to deport foreign terrorists off our soil. Levitt said, adding that President Trump will continue to use the Alien Enemies Act to remove foreign terrorists and Tren de Agaro gang members, vicious little bastards they are, from our communities. And because of this ruling, the United States of America will be a much safer place. This all started back on March 15th when Trump used that particular act to deport Venezuelan nationals to El Salvador's infamous mega prison because Venezuela wouldn't take them back. Boasberg, who is a U.S. district judge, put a temporary 2-week pause on the plan. The federal appeals court upheld the order in a 2-1 decision on March 26. And according to SCOTUS blog, Sarah Harris, then acting U.S. Solicitor General, came to the Supreme Court on March 28th, asking the justices to allow Trump administration to enforce the March 15th order. The dispute, she contended, presents fundamental questions about who decides how to conduct sensitive national security operations in this country, the president or the judiciary. Harris told the justices that the Constitution supplies a clear answer, the president. And you could read the entire ruling for yourself, including the unsigned 4-page opinion, Sotomayor's 17-page dissent, and Jackson's extra 2-page dissent. Ooh. I might just have to read that some night. I think I'll grab that thing and save it because that's going to be an interesting one. Oh yeah, there it is. Ooh, buddy. I'll get Yamaha to read that one with me. I'm sure he would love to get Sonia Sotomayor's voice there. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Give me just a second. I'm gonna download that baby. I do have some really good stuff there. And let me see, new file folder. Make sure I put this in there. There we go. Because these are always fun to read, especially whenever you drive them nuts with all that kind of stuff. Why is there never a win for America? Always a win for the politician. Fix the problem. Thank you so much, Buck Naked. That is a very good point. Why isn't there? Because, sometimes you just got to take the W, the big old W. Put it in your hat, spin it around, and show it off to everybody. Jay Hip says, Rosalind hasn't sent me the song you made for me, no matter how many times I've gotten on top of her about it. Why do you keep on getting on top of her? Well, Jay Hip, we'll just have to send it over to you. Give me just a second. And hit me up on the X. I think you already did, but hit me up on the X with your email address again, and I'll send it over to you. I'll make sure it gets to you today. Oh my gosh. No problem. No problem. Oh man. Well, let's see. What do we got here? Oh, I like this. I like this. Cruiser's almost daily distraction. Cruiser's been, he writes a lot. He does a lot. You'll do excellent. Yep. Cruiser's almost daily distraction. I prefer not to be rescued from the 10K a day steps cult. This isn't a tale of miraculous weight loss as a result of changing just one thing in my life. It's mostly about benefits that I hadn't expected from changing just one thing in my life. I began putting on weight during the coof, which there was no excuse for. Unlike so many people, I wasn't suddenly home and sedentary due to the lockdowns. In fact, the only thing about my daily routine that changed in 2020 was the addition of Zoom happy hours at random times during the day. My friends who weren't used to being home were discovering the joy of frequent day drinking, and I was sort of their Sherpa guide through the phase. Anyway, my coof weight was not only still here 5 years later, more of it was showing up every day. While visiting my sister in Michigan in January, I stayed at a room that had a full-length mirror, which made it impossible to ignore the reality of my expanded girth. I looked like I could cause an eclipse. While unsure of how I was going to go about it, I decided to get back to the desert and tackle the problem. The winter weather here is nice, which made me think that walking would be a good place to start. Because I'm a runner, I'd never given walking the credit it deserves as exercise. A bad foot has kept me from running for a few years, but I can still walk without too much pain. I do like cycling, but that wasn't fitting into my schedule well lately, so walking it was. For the last 5 years, my diet, willpower, and workout consistency had been weaker than Hillary Clinton's sex appeal. I might get a good streak of 4 or 5 days with a workout regimen, but, you know, I needed something simple to get me going again. 10,000 steps a day is what everyone talks about. I have no idea if there's a lot of research behind that, but I do know it's better than 0 steps a day. I set a goal of 10K a day, along with 100 kettlebell swings every day. What do you know? I stuck with both for almost a month before I took a day off. It's now a month after that. The first few thousand steps have led to a complete overhaul of my diet as well as of my sleep, work, and workout. There's a lot more than walking schedules. Oh, and my productivity, yes, I've lost some weight as well. The earliest benefit I noticed was my creative brain. I would take a walking break after writing a column, be ready to write something else as soon as I got home. I write a lot of jokes when I run, so this wasn't entirely new to me. I just never walked enough before my right brain to get to it. I've been hemorrhaging jokes as well as writing more columns here at my old PJ Media Ranch, all because I began getting off my butt. What I needed more than anything was to know that I could be consistent about something other than work again. I didn't even know how badly I needed to know that. Getting outside for some fresh air several times a day did the trick. Reducing the size of my shadow was the original motivation for this journey, but a far more powerful one soon emerged. I haven't been on stage enough in the last several years. I'm dying to go back on the road. No, I'm not abandoning my duties here. I can do both at the same time. There's some vanity involved in my approach to stand up. Hitting the road always did make me work out harder. I wasn't in the mood to go on stage and start telling fat jokes, although I have written a bit about the temptation to do so. I realized that I wasn't going to want to hit the stage again until I got rid of my third trimester chick silhouette. It's finally happening. Another few months of this, and I will be leanish, mean joke-telling machine. It's taken this long because I was only 15 pounds shy of getting a fat comic Netflix special. That's all for now. I'm in now for a walk. Thank you, PJ Media Senior Columnist Associate Editor Stephen Cruiser. I think it's Cruiser, but it's awesome. Good idea. Good idea. Good to see all of you fine people. I hope chat didn't freeze up. Sometimes it freezes up. I hope it didn't freeze up too much on me. Sometimes that happens. It's weird. It's so weird. Mm-hmm. Brian S. Young wrote this next one, and it's the JFK assassination, the mysterious death of a reporter investigating the crime. No, it looks like it's working. Good. Well, everybody's probably just getting dressed for work, and hopefully they put their pants on while listening to me, or take them off. Either which way, I'm sure it'll be beautiful. Sorry, I'm having too much fun this morning. The JFK assassination, mysterious death of a reporter investigating the crime. President Donald Trump's declassification of the assassination files on JFK made major headlines recently, but many questions still remain. One of the remaining unsolved mysteries connected to JFK's assassination is the strange death of a famed investigative journalist, Dorothy Kilgallen, on November 8th, 1965. That's right, Panzer Prison. Hey, Joe, how you doing? Good to see you. Last night was fun, but we won't talk about it. Yeah, we won't. I recently spoke with some former defense attorney, Mark Shaw, author of The Reporter Who Knew Too Much, his book about the mysterious death of Kilgallen. The only reporter to interview Jack Ruby, the mafia-connected nightclub owner who shot Lee Harvey Oswald, dead 2 days after he was accused of killing Kennedy. I also met with his spokesman, Ian Trottier, who was working on a separate project on a former CIA director, John Brennan, whom he accused of committing treason against the United States. Trottier spoke last week with Republican Florida Representative Paulina Luna, the co-chair of the task force on the death of JFK. He asked Congress to let Shaw testify regarding Killigan's death in connection with JFK after Oliver Stone's recent appearance on The Hill. Kilgallen, who was once described by the New York Post in 1960 as the most powerful female voice in America, was also the wife of comedic actor Richard Colomar. She was known to the American public as a panelist on CBS's What's My Line. It was nationally syndicated newspaper columnist in about 200 newspapers, with a weekday radio show with 1 million regular listeners that lasted for years until her untimely death. Much of her work involved covering headline criminal trials like Dr. Sam Shepard murder case, which later inspired the TV series, the movie The Fugitive. People said that when Kilgallen would report on a trial, it was said she would cover the story as if she were a prosecutor. However, the last murder case that she would cover was the assassination of her good friend, President Kennedy, which may have led to her untimely demise. Now, people say they were close friends, as she was. He had been a regular guest at her home in Manhattan. They would see each other at watering holes there in Soho, Shaw told PJ Media. According to Shaw, Kennedy was close enough to Kilgallen to the point where he invited her and her son, Terry, who was in the 3rd grade at the time, to the White House. So when she found out that JFK had been killed, it caused her a lot of grief. For the next 11 months after Kennedy was shot in Dallas, Kilgallen would dig into the story with passion, becoming one of the major voices questioning the official line from Washington and the narrative that Lee Harvey Oswald was a lone assassin. When she heard that some guy named Jack Ruby had shot this Lee Harvey Oswald in cold blood, she decided she was going to fly directly to Dallas to investigate her friend JFK's death. Unlike the so-called experts who investigated the JFK assassination, Kilgallen was the only one who arrived in Dallas shortly after the crime and the only one to speak with Ruby. To this day, what exactly Rube told Kilgallen about the shootings of JFK and Oswald remain a mystery, as her papers were seized by unknown persons after she died. She also interviewed the Dallas chief of police, who told her there was something wrong with the official line from FBI Director J. Edgar Hoover, that Oswald had shot Kennedy from the book depository and believed that the shots actually came from the overpass overlooking Dealey Plaza. Kilgallen would later go on to attend every closed-door hearing of the Warren Commission, where she confronted government officials on her findings, to the point that Hoover put her on a surveillance list, according to Shaw, who filed the FOIA request on the late reporter. She would persist in expressing skepticism that Oswald acted alone in her columns and called for his file to remain open despite attempts by authorities to quickly bury the JFK investigation. The path that Kilgallen took was to get the truth. The path that Kilgallen took to get the truth would, in the end, dangerously lead to a politically connected New Orleans mob boss who was long suspected of ordering a hit on Kennedy. In my second installment, I will discuss why this mobster had a motive to murder Kilgallen and the strange disappearance of her files on the JFK assassination, which vanished on the night of her death. Grassy Knoll strikes again. Stop. Pants for prison. Yes. I'm just me. Oh, no. I was busy with the Omaha biker. You kept me busy in my dreams. You got to get that right. Good morning, Robin Fox. Good to see you. Yeah, he will keep the ladies busy. That is for sure. He does keep the ladies busy at night. Last night, I'm sure, was no exception. I think every lady needs to have that gay friend. Speaking of ladies, on Annie Oakley's patriotism. Listen to this. Most of us know Annie Oakley as something of a celebrity in her day. Not only was she a gifted markswoman, but she was also a world-famous performer who starred in Buffalo Bill Cody's Wild West show, and later, after an accident that slowed her down a bit, a play written about her own life called The Western Girl. But what you may not know, or at least I didn't, is that she was also a great American patriot. Born Phoebe Ann Mosey on August 13th, 1860, in Western Ohio, Annie came from a poor family, which is how she developed her shooting skills. They were born from a place of necessity, according to the History Channel. While her sisters played with dolls, Annie tagged along with her father as he hunted and trapped in the woods. From an early age, Annie showed an extraordinary talent for marksmanship. I was 8 years old when I made my first shot, she later recalled, and I'm still consider it one of the best shots I ever made. Steadying her father's old muzzle-loading rifle on a porch rail, she picked off a squirrel sitting on a fence in her front yard with a headshot, allowing its meat to be preserved. The young girl's shooting not only put food on the table, it eventually allowed her mother to pay off the $200 mortgage on the family house through the money Annie earned by selling the game she hunted to a local grocery store that supplied hotels and restaurants in Cincinnati. As her star rose, so did her desire to help various causes, including women's rights. And I'm not talking about the type of women's rights that liberals squeal about today. She felt that every woman should know how to shoot a gun to defend herself. And because of the discipline and mental and physical exercise that it offers, it's been said that she taught over 15,000 women to shoot during her lifetime. Through her show business career and various shooting competitions, this poor girl from Ohio ended up quite wealthy, but she said she never believed in wasting a dollar of it. She and her husband, Frank Butler, often gave their money to support orphan charities, and they made sure that Annie's mother and Frank's daughters from his first marriage were well cared for. Fun fact, Frank, also a master marksman, fell in love with Annie after she beat him in a competition. He reportedly made 24 of 25 targets, and she still made all 25. But what really stood out to me is that Annie was a patriot who loved the United States, and on April 5th, 1898, President William McKinley received a letter from the country's most famous sharpshooter. According to the White House Historical Association, the USS Maine exploded on Havana Harbor, igniting tensions that led to the Spanish-American War. Recognizing the growing storm, Oakley put pen to paper, addressing the letter to President McKinley. She wrote, "Dear Sir, I, for one, feel confident that your good judgment will carry America safely through without war. But in case of such an event, I am ready to place a company of 50 lady sharpshooters at your disposal. Every one of them will be an American, as they will furnish their own arms and ammunition, will be little, if any, expense to the government." As the Instagram post states above, the War Department rejected Annie's offer as women weren't allowed in the military at the time, but the sentiment was appreciated. Oakley made a similar offer to her country during World War I and even offered personal shooting lessons for the troops, but once again she was rejected. But she still managed to support the war effort, traveling around the country as part of the National War Council of the Young Men's Christian Association of War Camp Community Service and giving demonstrations at training camps. She also volunteered and raised money for the Red Cross. Here's one more story that made me laugh. Annie traveled to Europe several times with Buffalo Bill, and on one occasion in 1892, German Prince Wilhelm asked her to shoot a cigarette from his mouth. She agreed to do it, but only if he held it in his hand. Years later, when Wilhelm became Kaiser, Annie joked to the press that only she if that if only she'd missed that day, she could have possibly prevented World War I. By the time Annie was in her 60s, her health was failing her, and on November 3rd, 1926, she died from pernicious anemia. After her death, Frank was so distraught that he refused to eat and died just 2.5 weeks later. The couple never had any children. They'd given all their money to family and the various causes they supported, but Annie left the rest of the country something far more important, a role model. While she has become legendary folk hero for her gun skills, she also someone who didn't just talk the talk when it came to things that were important to her, including her love for the United States. If only today's entertainers were that patriotic. Good morning, Tammy Bogart. How you doing this morning? Oh yeah, taken care of, adult sigh. Oh yeah, oh yeah. I need to get some more coffee. I will be right back in just a few. I'm going to leave you with a nice little dance so you can get up and shake that thing.
Step aside, y'all, it's my time to shine. I'm feeling the groove with these hips of mine. Hands in the air like spaghetti gone rogue. My knees are jelly and my hips just broke. Shaking it, breaking it, what a blast. Wobble it, wiggle it, shake that ass. Do a jig or a jog, wiggle it to the side, or break that hip bone by moving your ass. Step up or stand aside. My shoulders pop like a rusty hinge. My fingers point like they're on a binge. Twirl like a tornado, then drop real low. It's not planned, it's a shit sideshow. I've got the rhythm of a clock that's broke. My dance floor moves are a big effing joke. Shaking it, breaking it, what a blast. Wobble it, wiggle it, shake that ass. Do a jig or a jog, wiggle it to the side, or break that hip bone by moving your ass. Step up or stand aside. Rig like a lava lamp, mesmerizing glow. You can't help but watch me steal the show. I summon the shake, the shimmy, the twist, a mix of genius and a big old fist. You're drawn in close, your feet start to twitch, feeling the groove like a broke ass bitch. Yeah! Shaking it, breaking it, what a blast. Wobble it, wiggle it, shake that ass. Do a jig or a jog, wiggle it to the side, or break that hip bone by moving your ass. Step up or stand aside. Now we're all in the shake, no need to be shy. Move like spaghetti and reach for the sky. We'll dance like we're cursed, laugh till we're sore. Shizzy whiz nut reigns forevermore. So join the dance, let your weirdness unfurl. We're shaking ass, not a care in the world.
Oh yeah, we are back with you wonderful people. Nick Starro, hey how you doing, Nick? Is that Bubbles? No, that's not Bubbles. That is not. I guarantee you, it is not Bubbles. I'll prove to you that it's not. Give me just a second. There's only one person that could possibly send that to me. It was the person that sent me the original video in the first place. And that would be the infamous Rosalind Duke, because I gotta show this to you because that guy is still around. That guy is absolutely still around, but you have to set it up for the right kind of music. All right, you guys ready? Because and I haven't added it yet, but I am going to add it eventually. It's this right here. You got to get the music set up for it. Here it goes. Let me get the audio. Here we go. You know it's coming.
Come on, shake your body, baby, do that funk.
Oops.
Step aside, girl, it's my time to shine. I'm feeling the groove with these hips of mine. Hands in the air like spaghetti gone rogue. My knees are jelly and my hips just broke. Shaking it, breaking it, what a blast. Wobble it, wiggle it, shake that ass. Do a jig or a jog, wiggle it to the side, or break that hip bone by moving your ass. Step up or stand aside.
Yes, he is still around, still dancing. The guy with the Daisy Dukes and the headphones, shizzy, I'd bet money on it. No, that guy right there is the same guy. Does that look like Bubbles? No, I swear it's not. I swear it's not. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Yeah, Rosalind's hilarious. She sent that to me. She was like, "Oh, he's back." I was like, "No, I can't unsee it, man, dog." You have to now. You have to admit that you've seen it. Shizzy, not Bubbles. He could be Bubbles for the day. You guys are so bad. Oh my gosh, my connection to one of the deadliest tornadoes in U.S. history by Chris Queen. On Sunday, as a line of thunderstorms moved across the South and Midwest, including devastating flooding and tornadoes, some family members reminded me of a historic storm that ravaged North Georgia 89 years ago on April 6, 1936. A series of tornadoes struck the town of Gainesville, Georgia on the morning hours. The event still stands as the fifth most destructive tornado in U.S. history. According to the April 1936 monthly weather preview, the first tornado struck on the campus of Brno College at 8:27 a.m. Only minor damage occurred to the college buildings, but trees on campus were torn to pieces and the trunks thrown down in all directions. The course of destruction was narrow and extended nearly eastward through the New Holland, then northeastern into the country. The other tornadoes came along 10 minutes later. Two distinct funnel clouds appeared at once. These destroyed all but a few buildings in the business section. One course of destruction led into the city from the southwest, just to the west of the Atlanta Highway. The other came in nearly west along the Dawsonville Highway. These two paths came together west of Grove Street, and in an area 4 blocks in width was laid waste across the entire city, beyond which separate courses of destruction again appeared. The tornadoes killed 203 and injured over 1,600 people. The damage totaled an estimate of $12.5 million, which would be equivalent to about $283 million in today's money. Incidentally, the same storm nearly killed 1-year-old Elvis Presley and his family. A furious spring windstorm had passed in 3 minutes, killed nearly 150 persons here today in a blast that turned the business section into a blazing wreckage, increasing to more than 300 dead in tornadoes lashing the South, reported Associated Press at the time. Of course, another 53 deaths would be confirmed. The death toll mounted steadily throughout the day and into the night as rescue workers braved storm-caused fires to search the wreckage. The report continued at 10:15 Central Standard Time. 145 bodies had been removed from the debris of wrecked buildings. The latest being 6 unidentified bodies burned beyond recognition, taken from a building near a Twisted Cooper Pants factory. Over 70 people in the factory perished. A historic marker sits on the side of that factory today. The tornado prompted 2 visits to Gainesville from then President Franklin Delano Roosevelt. He visited the area a few days after the storm, returned 2 years later to celebrate the rebuilding of much of the town. What's remarkable about the tornado event for my family and me is that my grandfather and his family lived through it. I don't remember him talking about it much, but he wrote several pages about it that fateful morning in his memoirs. He was 11 years old, and he tried to get out of going to school by telling his mother that he didn't like the looks of the clouds. She made him and his brothers go to school anyway, and I'll let him pick up the account. The 8:20 bell rang, and we lined up at the door. At 8:25, a teacher came out the front door, rang her bell, and we marched in an orderly line into the building and into our classrooms. Before the teacher could call the roll, it was obvious that something very serious was happening. The elements turned gray and everything began to darken as if it was late afternoon. My desk was located on a row adjacent to the windows. I was so engrossed in what was going on, it seemed time just stopped. Then I saw things flying through the air, followed by a roar louder than anything I'd ever heard. 3 giant sycamore trees right outside our school were twisting and turning and bending till the tops were almost touching the ground. Then it seemed like the world exploded. Window panes were shattering, debris was flying all over our classroom. I looked around and there was no one else in the room with me. I was flat out by myself in that hell. I got up from my desk and ran to the door to go to the hall. When I reached the door, wind blew me backwards. I said to myself, whoa, I better not try that again. Then I ran by the blackboard to the cloakroom. I have no idea about what I meant to do. I just ran. When I got to the cloakroom, there was one boy and 2 girls huddled against the wall. I got my jacket, took 2 more jackets off the hooks and threw them to the girls and then told them to put them over their heads. I guess they thought they could hide by doing that. I didn't know why I stayed in there. It was safer than going back into our open classroom. The boy followed me out. Then I stopped and stood against a blackboard with my jacket over my head because glass, limbs, books, and no telling what else was flying around our room. As I stood there, I could feel objects hitting my jacket and heard stuff hitting the blackboard all around me. The tornado hit at 8:33 and was gone within 3 minutes. The children's screams and cries filled the air, and water mixed with blood flowed along the hallway. My grandfather told me one of his friends who was crying that the storm was nothing serious. When I looked at the 5-story cotton mill and the whole end that had been blown away, I could see all 5 floors just like in a dollhouse, he continued. I didn't tell Junebug again that it was nothing serious. My grandfather's older brother found him, and they went to find their youngest brother. Once they collected him, they headed home. Crawling over fallen trees and dodging crackling power lines all the way, the mother was crying when they got home because she didn't know if her boys were alive or dead. The damage at the house wasn't as bad as it was in town. The worst damage was a tree that had fallen on their oldest brother's bedroom. He worked the second shift, so he was sleeping when the tornado came through. Their mother had the foresight to wake him up and tell him to come downstairs before the tree fell. The local doctor went around to every house in town to see who needed medical attention. My grandfather's sister, the oldest sibling, and her husband lived in the hardest hit area of town. They survived, but the husband's mother, who lived next door, didn't. My grandfather's father was in the backyard the next day and found a quarter stuck in the mud, as well as a new shirt that the tornado blew out of a store in town. They also learned that a family acquaintance who worked at a hardware store in town, he closed himself up in a safe to escape the tornado and burned to death in the ensuing fire. The school stayed closed for 5 weeks for repairs. My grandfather and his brothers and friends enjoyed the break, but it meant that school stayed in session long into the summer. He believed that his teacher panicked and ran out of the building instead of seeing to her students, and they never saw her again. I wondered how many times about my actions that day. My grandfather wrote, I did the right thing when I left my desk, but I should have stayed in the cloakroom. That was the safest place to be. When I went to the blackboard, I should have fallen flat on the floor. That would have been much safer instead of standing upright. I never felt terror. I think bewilderment would describe my feelings more. I didn't realize what a terrible 3 minutes it was till I saw the mill. Then I was scared. What would you expect an 11-year-old to do in these circumstances? That he survived at all with nothing worse than a minor cut shows that God was looking out for him. It's a memory that never left him. The map in this article from the May 1936 Monthly Weather Preview shows where the tornadoes converged in their paths were before. Yeah, it's pretty impressive. Yeah, so Chris Queen is a columnist at PJ Media. He's a fan of anything that involves his beloved Georgia Bulldogs, an amateur Disney historian. He's a certified bourbon steward, but that doesn't make him a bourbon snob. You can also subscribe to him at Substack. Excellent. I had a Rat Dab. He was awesome. Shorter nose, a little hefty, perfect mix. They're just stunning girls. Will be beautiful. Oh, excellent. Hit that like. Rosalind is both funny and good looking. Yes, she is. Yes, she is. Oh, I love it. Have a great day, Mary Smith. Shizzy, not Bubbles. Don't you start with me. You start with me. God. I've got a couple more that I wanted to show you guys. Oh my gosh, what is that? Yeah, what a blast. Yeah, there was something I read last night. It's going to be hilarious whenever I cover it later. Yes, tonight's gonna be a crazy night. I'm going to do I'm gonna start my stream out on the YouTube, and then YouTube is gonna go away, and I will continue the story over on the Rumble side, which is going to be so glorious. So you'll have to check that out tonight. It's gonna be quite interesting. Gonna be quite interesting. That's pretty good. I'll have to bookmark that. It's funny. Yep. I did find something that I think is really important. And this is for all you ladies out there. All you ladies out there, this is probably one of the most interesting things that you're going to find. So I hope you got your ears on. Pay close attention to this. This is from at Meet the Harrisons at TikTok. So you're gonna like this one right here. Listen.
Hey babe, what? Did you know that men are going to arrive in heaven about 30 minutes before women?
Did you guys know that? That men are going to arrive in heaven about 30 minutes before women. Yeah, Shizzy Wiznut at Rumble, or however that's done. I'll also have a link for it tonight. It'll be posted up in the chat, or yeah, at the top.
Michael, where did you hear that?
It's right here. Revelations chapter 8, verse 1. When he opened the seventh seal, there was silence in heaven for about half an hour.
No, Michael.
This is the word of God, babe.
No!
Cynthia's like, I saw that one. Yes. I love it. 30 minutes before the women get there, there was silence for just a whole half an hour. Oh my gosh. Tammy liked that one. Oh, the rest of you, I know it's a difficult one, but you'll get it. And with this next story, Trump's painful but necessary scorched earth approach is precisely what I voted for. Now, this was from yesterday. I'm not sure if I read this whole thing yesterday, but I did have quite a few. This column isn't about MAGA cheerleading for President Trump or any glass half full optimism about the way things are going to turn out. Regular readers know I wouldn't be consistent with my standard approach to things. I don't worship politicians. I wean myself off political prognostication after the 2022 midterms debacle. In the last several days, I've had conversations with people on both sides of the aisle who were shocked, I tell you, that I'm not spazzing out over what's happening with Trump's tariff palooza. In situations like that, it's just easier for me to write down my responses and simply refer people to the column the next time the conversation comes up. Of course, I do it in an imperious and dismissive manner, usually referring to my body of work while holding my nose slightly in the air. I do have a brand to maintain, after all. It was plain for all who had eyes to see during Biden's years that the country was being pushed off of several cliffs at once. 21st century Democrats really like to hedge their bets when trying to carry out his high holiness, the light bringer Barack Obama's commie dream of fundamentally transforming the United States of America. Within a short amount of time, the Biden administration had the republic tripping so many existential crises that NASA computer couldn't even tally them up. Even in the age of vigorous presidential executive orders, the kind of damage that Biden cabal did wasn't going to be easy to undo. Democrats are quite skilled at placing constitutional time bombs all over the place. The goal is to use an overwhelming volume of sheer treachery to slow down or thwart any future politicians who want to roll back their achievements. Just 4 days into the year of our Lord, 2023, I wrote a column titled, I'm all in if Trump promises a scorched earth second term. For those of you not doing the calendar math, Biden was still a couple of weeks shy of his 2-year anniversary in the Oval Office. I harbored no illusions whatsoever about there being a quick fixes should Trump get a second crack at the presidency. Garden variety politicians don't do scorched earth things because most of them are the path of least resistance types. Despite this being his second term at the pinnacle of American politics, Trump really isn't a politician. Here's what I wrote at the end of my 2023 column. A lot of people, both parties, complained about all of Trump's rough edges when he was in office. I always thought they were features rather than bugs. If he is heading back into office in January 2025, I hope they're even rougher. Right now, we're at a place that many of us knew we'd have to be. President Trump campaigned on this and has consistently said that this would not be easy in the short term, but the payoff would be worth it. Earlier today, my partner in Thought Crime, Stephen Green, wrote a column that breaks down a lot of the financial theory particulars about the current situation. It's like he did research, and that I didn't feel like doing. Who am I kidding? I never want to do research. I'm a verbal bomb throwing opinion columnist. One big reason that I don't waste a moment of worrying about anything that's going on with the Department of Government Efficacy or tariffs is that I know that I'm not in a position to second guess a couple of self-made billionaires when it comes to anything that involves money. Another is that we've been down the tariff road before with no panic and positive results. This was so last year, though, I mustn't burden the news cycle, outrage mob with facts or anything else for more than 24 hours ago. Again, I'm not saying that this will be all hunky-dory in the end. What I'm saying is the pain was unavoidable after the last 4 years. In the long run, however, the status quo would have hurt a lot more. That's funny. Rumble's videos go out faster than a 1972 Pinto. That's barely saying a lot. That using get in there is pain. What problem do you have using Rumble? Rumble is free, but I have to Google it. Yeah, Rumble. Yeah, you just go to Rumble. It doesn't cost anything. Rumble doesn't cost you a single thing. It's just it's almost like YouTube. You create an account and then you get a Rumble account, and then you can join whoever you want to. You can do a search for Shizzy Wiznut, and I come popping up in there. I have all of my streams are backed up over there as much as I can. Sometimes, like my live stuff that I do, like on my phone and crap like that, and a lot of the videos you won't find over there, just because I haven't figured out how to do it for one, and also there's much more to them than just that. So eventually I'll get all of my videos uploaded over there. They used to do it automatically, but they changed something or some algorithm. I don't know. It's weird. Let's see. Where is the other one? There was another one that I really wanted to cover this morning because I don't have a whole lot of time this morning. Oh my gosh. All right. Let's see. Let's see what we got here. Did Trump blow up Wall Street to save it? Now, this was written by Stephen Green yesterday. President Donald Trump's tariff bomb blew up Wall Street like the 1987 Black Monday crash. But what if there's a method to the madness? I'm not talking about 9D Vulcan laser chess here, but maybe an escape hatch from a sinking ship, even if the escape itself is on fire. The last few days and Black Mondays are alike only on their scale. 1987 was largely driven by internal factors like program trading and happened in just one day. The current collapse was engineered, although some would say it was more of a bull in a china shop event by the White House and rolled over days. Also, it might be one of the worst of the bloodshed has already been staunched if today's early returns are any indicator. The Dow is only down about 1% and NASDAQ is trading even or slightly up. Maybe the panic is over already, although we're too soon into the tariff game to see what will become of the bottom line of corporations, both large and small, if Trump's tariffs backfire. A possibility with probabilities unknown. There will be hell to pay both on Wall Street and in Washington. Any doubts aren't due some special issue of mine with Trump. Last week, Thursday's essay for VIPs looking at the potential upsides of his new tariff regime, and they could be significant. It's just that, as longtime Sharp Vodka pundit readers know, I'm aware of any government effort to make things better. Remember Ronald Reagan's 9 most terrifying words in the English language? I'm from the government and I'm here to help. It's been nearly 40 years, but I still live by those. But something had to be done because this was a situation on April 2nd, the day before Liberation Day. Unsustainable deficit spending, but a GOP Congress without the cojones to cut spending, interest rates choking off growth, but a prime interest rate that, if lowered, might bring back Biden inflation. Wall Street had been on a sugar high since 2008 or maybe further back to 2001. But where else are you going to put your money? Tough situation, eh? But maybe there is a way out. Financial analyst Lyndon Wood noted that tariffs are causing risk assets like stocks and crypto to dump. So you have to remember that crypto was designed to prevent exactly that, forcing Wall Street off its sugar high, and the money is going into treasuries, which are seen as safe. The demand for treasuries is what's forcing interest rates down, which is great for the housing market, caveat assuming businesses keep hiring, but more importantly for our national debt. The U.S. has to refinance around 30% of its $37 trillion debt within a year or so. And if we can do that at lower rates, it will help bring down the $1 trillion plus annual interest payment. Then there's big Wall Street sell-off that everybody has everybody in such a tizzy. The tariff rollout volatility and all has a way of creating controlled detonation of the equities market. Anonymous finance guy Derek posted to X, this is a bit like Reagan giving Fed Chair Paul Volcker the political cover he needs to crash the economy in 1981 for as long as it took to wring out the 70s inflation. More from Derek. Wall Street freaked out and deleveraged themselves. Now there won't be any banks or hedge funds who can't afford to pay off their loans because they are over-leveraged. The extreme tariffs also coming at a time when Besant sees a recession or depression happening in China. He emphasized this several times with Tucker. By boxing in China, shutting down their exports, he's creating the same conditions that led to the big short of the British pound. If Chinese yuan collapses, then it will cause a global flight to U.S. Treasury bonds. Trump is the finance guy, so is Secretary Treasurer Scott Bessent. None of this is news to them. Critics argue that the bond markets are just pricing in a recession, and maybe the critics are right, but a recession was the inevitable part of the detox process, purposefully triggered that recession. If that's indeed what Trump has done, might just be the smart play. If Trump and Bissett pull this off, they'll go down in history like Reagan and Volcker. If not, they'll just go down. So hang on, as I wrote earlier today in Instapundit, because the ride isn't for the squeamish. Yeah. I use a throwaway email account for those. I have a CD cover the single and avatar is linked to. That's awesome. That's awesome. Yes. If you have a smart TV added Rumble, it shouldn't take 10 minutes. Wow. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Yes, I think you can put it on your TV also. I've never done that. Never done that. I hardly ever watch things on my TV because I'm usually streaming. And if I do watch something, it's usually because I'm listening to it. So that's always where I'm at with all of this stuff. Why privacy is not security. As Waltz and Hegseth learned. Recently on a 16 8-person group chat initiated by Michael Waltz and including Pete's Hegseth, Jeffrey Goldberg, editor-in-chief of The Atlantic and a vehement critic of both Trump and Hegseth, was inconveniently included. Goldberg stayed on the chat and took screenshots, then withheld reporting the story until conveniently the night before Waltz and Hegseth were to testify before Congress. Furor followed, with Goldberg insisting that highly secret information would disclosed in the chat, while Bramley insisting that he wouldn't disclose what it was until challenged, at which point it appeared that his skills as a classification officer were lacking. Democrats used the furor to attack both Hegseth and Waltz, largely at the hands of people who had been critical of Hegseth's nomination. However, Trump and Waltz insisted that the information, while sensitive, wasn't classified, and targeting Hegseth, who didn't initiate the chat, seems to be primarily political. Still, it's embarrassing, and the accidental inclusion of Goldberg seems odd. As more information has come out, the explanation has been seen that Waltz had Goldberg's phone in his contacts under the name of Brian Hughes, the current National Security Council spokesperson, apparently thanks to his iPhone helpfully adding the number via communications between Waltz and Hughes. Still, it's a security violation, albeit one that in the old days would have been called a minor violation. I understand that this is outmoded here, and there's more complicated system now, the details of which are apparently classified. There's also a fact that the government, through CISA, had recommended Signal to private communications. This is the crux of the problem. What happened was not a failure of Signal. It did what it's advertised to do, provide end-to-end encrypted communication. The failure was rather the unsophisticated users were misled that privacy was the same as security. The missing step there is, while the communications are private, Signal only authenticates the user endpoint that they have the number that was added to the chat. In this case, Goldberg was added to the chat because his phone was in Waltz's phone book. Signal says, "You want to talk to 8675309?" Well, you bet. Failing to make sure the connection was authentic to Hughes and not some random Trump administration critic is where it fell down. I imagine that everyone involved is appropriately embarrassed, and I'm sure many forceful memos are going out. It would be too surprised if CISA's recommendation of Signal has added to it something strongly reminding users that just because it's a private communication doesn't mean that it's a secure channel. That's just a band-aid. However, using really secure communications is what we in the computer security world call a pain. The actual technical term is more definite, but you get the idea. Pushing people to use SIPRNet or worse, JWICS would mean communications could only be done from a secured facility. As SCIF or its equivalent, you can bet that Air Force One is treated as an SCIF. The thing is, if you make security inconvenient enough, people will find ways to circumvent it. It would be better if the government provided an application for private and authenticated communication. It turns out that Signal, since it's open source, would be a good start. Call it Signal Fort Meade Edition. It would be a fork in the existing Signal, ideally also open source with a couple of extensions. First, add a layer of identification to the endpoint devices. This is already part of, for example, the TLS protocol. And now they're getting into computer geekery, and I know that will bore you. End use would be very much like Signal is now. Signal is already establishes a session key for the encryption using double ratchet encryption, an extension of the well-known Diffie-Hellman algorithm. At the time of the establishing the chat, each user would have to provide the day's PIN before they could make the connection. The underlying issue, though, is that people, even users who work with classified data in the normal classified channels, aren't very sophisticated in the concepts involved, although they should be. This kerfuffle was caused because the people using Signal accepted CISA's assurance and recommendation that Signal was good for private communications and were fooled into thinking it was enough for secure communications. I'm just electronically challenged. Hey, Tom Gillish, how you doing? Good day, sir. Tom Gillis, the golf instructor from hell. Oh, is Masters this week? I think Masters is this week. I've got to share something with you. I think I can do it on X. Nope, I can't do it on X. I got to share something with you. Let's just put it this way. Before all the rain started on Saturday, the azaleas were popping in my yard. Yeah. Ask me about it. And Tom Gillis knows what I'm talking about. If you're talking about Masters, he knows all about the azaleas. I slipped out of consciousness for a moment there. Oh, did you? From hell, golf instructor from hell. Yes, no. If you're ever looking to fix your swing, Tom Gillis of Golf Instructing is the one that you want to see. He will fix your swing. I'm telling you, he'll fix it in such a good way. You'll be so impressed with it. It'll make you feel so much better. Wish I was there. Yeah, yeah. My one of my wife's friend's father passed away a couple weeks back, and he made his last trip last year to Masters. And now this one is sort of like really touching because he was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, so he couldn't uh, he couldn't remember certain things. He could remember people, and he remembered that he wanted to go to the Masters. The only problem is both of them are in their 70s, and she doesn't drive very well. And well, he's too crazy to drive. Let's put it that way. He almost started the their they have woods in their backyard. He almost started on fire for dumping out the charcoal briquettes after grilling some meat outside. That's how forgetful he was. But so what she did for the last time that he was able to see the Masters was she rented a car. Now they live in Marietta, so it's a ways up the road from where we are, and rented a car for the day and went to the Masters. She actually did that as a gift to him so he could go see the Masters because he loved it so much. Like I said, this is a really touching story. But yeah, they rented the car for the day. They had drinks in the back and had a great time. But yeah, yeah, that's my story of the Masters. I've never been to the Masters. I don't know. My brother-in-law is more into golf than I am, and he's actually okay. He wants to do it more. I love putt putt. Putt putt is fun too. Yeah, I've done putt putt. I think there's a couple places here. Those are definitely fun. You know, give you something good to do. Yeah, it was a really nice story. It was a really nice story, but it was well worth their time and money. It was better than ending up in a ditch somewhere. That would have not been really good. Oh my gosh, what do we have here? Mark Carney. Too much baggage, too many lies. Vlad, I know two Vlads. One is a cute little bunny that brings me cookies. The other is Bad Vlad. Which Vlad? Which one do you think Bad Vlad could call? The simple step of courageous individuals not take part in the lie. With all the baggage he is carrying and the litany of lies he instantly spouts, and given the last decade of catastrophic liberal rule in which prosperous country has plummeted to near Venezuelan status, it's hard to understand how Canada's newly unelected Prime Minister Mark Carney continues to slice through the turbulent political waters under a towering cloud of sail. Or perhaps it's not so difficult given Canada's well-earned reputation of smug and untutored credulity. The Liberals under Justin Trudeau have fallen so low in the polls that they might as well have been specks in a Dr. Seuss's children book, their piping voices scarcely to be heard, followed by Carney's accession. The party of gross mismanagement and globalist pretensions bestrides the nation, confident of a resounding electoral victory on April 28th. Canada is, after all, a left-leaning country, virtually two-thirds of the electorate reflexively and collectively voting for the socialism cum laude communist liberals, the NDP and the Greens, regardless of whatever harm they wreak on the country's prospects, solvency, and unity, and irrespective of whomever is leading them, usually profiteers. Admittedly, the Greens appeal chiefly to the fringe crazies, mainly on the West Coast, especially the Gulf Islands. The liberals, like the Democrats in the U.S., have lunged from the center to the far left, an aberration that cares nothing for the people it presumably represents, joined by the socialist NDP, presumably tending to the betterment of the working class as it manifestly betrayed. It's to be expected Trudeau and Carney are impudent plutocrats, and the leader of the NDP, Jagmeet Singh sports gold-plated retirement package worth millions, has been observed driving a $200,000 Maserati SUV. Despite their internal scuffles and trade barbs, they are participating in the banquet of goodies that goes by the name of power and profit. A clutch of mandarins and champagne socialists affecting their improved the lot for common folk to save the planet while they're at it, and Canadians in their ineffable complacency, eager by the ruse. Carney has indeed promised to lower taxes for the beleaguered middle class and to restore the country's economic vigor. Yet, as Matt Arrett, editor-in-chief of the Canadian Patriot Review, reports, Carney is working to establish a new greenwashing, climate-friendly system of measuring value aimed at stripping nation-states of productive industrial potential. The downside of Carney's Great Reset vision, there's no upside, is that value is tied not to the rising of living standards, human creative reason, or national productive powers of labor that characterized the creative growth of human civilization for the past several centuries, but rather upon its total inverse. Meanwhile, the lies big and small continue to proliferate. A whopper or a fib doesn't matter much if it's endemic to a shady personality. For example, Carney claimed at a recent press conference that the AC/DC song Thunderstruck that introduces his entries at meets and rallies was his warm-up song when he played minor league hockey in the 70s. Carney, born on March 16th, 1965, was 25 years old at the time of the song's release on September 10th, 1990. Of course, Carney may have been thinking of TNT, which was released in 1975 when he was 10, though it seems unlikely. In any event, Thunderstruck should not figure in Carney's repertoire. It's a working class song and rather apt appropriation considering what Carney has to offer. Highway to Hell might be more fitting. Small lies are supremely eloquent of character. Big lies are the stuff of political careers. As noted, Carney has long positioned himself as an environmental advocate. One observes his ongoing promotion of the climate change boondoggle, his insistence that net zero is necessary, and his refusal to repeal Bill C-69, no more pipelines, is a lie palpable. For net zero for thee, net billions for me. Under his leadership, his company, Brookfield Asset Management, has aggressively expanded into the energy infrastructure he ostensibly deplores, investing in pipelines all around the world. Indeed, Brookfield is currently negotiating a $9 billion book deal to buy Colonial Pipeline, the largest fuel transport system in the United States. Carney is also interested in investing hundreds of billions in China. Would Canadian pipelines compete with and hurt his portfolio? Asked Alberta Premier Danielle Smith. Is that why he's shutting them down? Moreover, Carney is reliably accused of artfully steering Brookfield to avoid an estimated $5.3 billion in Canadian taxes between 21 and 24 while he was still chair of the company. So much for his love of Canada. Carney remains tight-lipped and has never disclosed the details of his multiple and ostensibly lucrative financial holding. One wonders, too, why he saw fit to use Bermuda as a tax haven, actually funneling taxes through a sketchy Bermuda bike shop after having moved his holdings from Toronto to New York. Which brings up another inflammatory issue. Carney lied when he said that the decision for the move from Canada to the U.S. was made after he left the Brookfield board of directors. Not so. The Financial Post reported after the incriminating letter surfaced that the relocation decision occurred 2 months before he stepped down from his role with the firm. Carney is poison. You would never want to have to stoop coffee with this guy. Even former Liberal MP Dan McTeague was warned of Carney's disastrous effects on the industry and the economy. Former UK Prime Minister Liz Truss said of Carney, a once governor of both Bank of England and Bank of Canada, I strongly recommend not backing Mark Carney for his policies on net zero. It was disastrous for Britain. It would be disastrous for Canada. It's clear that Carney intends to reboot Canada's economic engine to his preferred system of ESG values as laid out in his paper, 50 Shades of Green, an initiative that will destroy the country's industrial and energy base in the service of transnational oligarchy of which he is a privileged member. Carney's vision of sustainable finance and massive punitive regulations, writes National Citizens Council NCC Director Alexander Brown, is a wrecking ball aimed at the heart of Canada's resource sector. Canadians will pay the price for the lofty loan ideals of London and Manhattan banker who spends only part of his time in Canada, specifically Ontario and Quebec, at the cost of the national sovereignty he suddenly appears to care for. Brown concludes as a Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau has no values, unfortunately for working Canadians and Canada's future. In the case of Mark Carney, he has a manifesto filled with values. They just so happen to be all the wrong ones at exactly the wrong time. His profession of concern for Canada's well-being is nothing but a monumental libel. Carney is a piece of work, a perfect expression of the political con game which substitutes for governance in his frankly demented country. A country that could elect Trudeau, whether father or son, and flirt with the real possibility of electing Carney may not be worth saving. Hope against hope, voters must be alert to the danger if we are to reclaim the country for patriotic citizens and millions of young Canadians. Regardless of all his protestations of concern for the moral vitality and economic well-being of the nation, Carney will advance Trudeau's programs of costly, ineffective renewables predicted on the utter folly of anthropogenic global warming, a disaster that could result in the shutdown of Western Canada's energy industry at the cost of the entire nation's prosperity and self-sufficiency. Not live not by lies, exhorted Russian author and political dissident Alexander Stolskian, urging individuals to resist totalitarian regimes by refusing to participate in lies, even in small ways. I doubt that Carney has ever read Stolskian, or even if he had, probably would not have understood a damn word. And this was written by David Soloway, a Canadian poet, songwriter, and essayist. His most recent book, Crossing the Jordan, on Judaism, Islam, and the West, has released 2 CDs of original songs, Blood Guitar and Partial to Cain. He lives in Vancouver with his wife, author and video content creator, Janice Fiamengo. I don't know that name. Fiamengo. I think my body gave me the body of a 90-year-old, and I'm only 55. Going to God with parts of a list. So starting with my teeth and appendix, fake bones, nothing fused though. Oh my gosh, Rosalind, dude, good to see you. Yes, drunk, but is great. Yes. Tom, do you still have me blocked? Should he have you blocked? It's a possibility he should have you blocked. And if you guys haven't seen this, I think it's an important thing if you start worrying about your economy and the tariffs and all this other bull squeeze. Listen to this next thing very closely.
There's not a single person in the world who could make this pencil. Remarkable statement? Not at all. The wood from which it's made, for all I know, comes from a tree that was cut down in the state of Washington. To cut down that tree, it took a saw. To make the saw, it took steel. To make the steel, it took iron ore. This black center, we call it lead, but it's really graphite, compressed graphite. I'm not sure where it comes from, but I think it comes from some mines in South America. This red top up here, the eraser, bit of rubber, probably comes from Malaya, where the rubber tree isn't even native. It was imported from South America by some businessmen with the help of the British government. This brass ferrule, I haven't the slightest idea where it came from, or the yellow paint, or the paint that made the black lines, or the glue that holds it together. Literally thousands of people cooperated to make this pencil. People who don't speak the same language, who practice different religions, who might hate one another if they ever met. When you go down to the store and buy this pencil, you are in effect trading a few minutes of your time for a few seconds of the time of all those thousands of people. What brought them together and induced them to cooperate to make this pencil? There was no commissar sending out orders from some central office. It was a magic of the price system, the impersonal operation of prices that brought them together and got them to cooperate to make this pencil so that you could have it for a trifling sum. That is why the operation of the free market is so essential, not only to promote productive efficiency, but even more, to foster harmony and peace among the peoples of the world.
Yeah. Interesting, isn't it? That somebody from the 70s could have so much to say about the state of our economy today and how easy it is to repeat it. There's not really anything new, no inventiveness to it. Oh, I'm not done yet. I got one more for you. This is going to be fun and funny. You're gonna like this. You're gonna like this one. This is a fake UPS driver arrested, and viewers are shocked. Shocked, I tell you. Watch this.
Because we got a suspicious person call. Do you live around here?
Oh, that bus over there?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm sorry.
Okay. Do you live around here?
No, I'm going door to door. I'm doing a photography thing.
How long have you been parked
Photography
over
good?
there?
Like 30 minutes. I was just writing up my story.
Do you have an American flag mask? Is that an American flag mask?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So is that your car?
Yes, sir.
You haven't been parked there for 8 hours?
No, not at all.
Okay. Do you have some ID on you?
Did I do anything wrong?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I literally got here. I can show you.
Do you have your ID or not? So you're being audio and video recorded.
Oh, yeah.
Is this your house?
No, I'm going door to door. and
Do you see there no soliciting sign?
Wait, let it-
Yeah. Come on. Step over here. How come you're dressed in a UPS uniform?
It's a joke. It's about.
Yeah. Get your ID out. It's very funny.
It's a
Sit down.
joke.
This is
Do you have
weird.
any guns or weapons on you?
No, I don't
Put your hands
have
on the truck.
I didn't do anything wrong.
You're being detained. Sit down.
Detained.
Sit down.
Everything you have, we'll put it right there.
Otherwise, you're going into handcuffs. There's two ways to do this. This isn't Seattle.
I
Get your
don't
ID
listen.
out.
My ID is in my car.
Okay. Put your hands right here.
Okay, sir, I'm not.
Put your hands on there.
Hold on.
I'll tell you what you look like. You look like a prowler.
What is a
Put your
prowler?
hands on there. You're gonna get dumped on the ground. You understand that?
What is a prowler?
Prowler is
Oh,
someone
boy.
who goes door to door checking to see if houses are going to be
Broad
unoccupied.
daylight?
Yeah.
You're wearing a
Yeah.
UPS uniform.
In
Clear
broad
the way.
daylight.
I go to
Stop
every-
talking. You want me to answer some questions, right? So I'm explaining to you what a prowler is. That is a prowler.
I'm sorry.
You're wearing UPS and you're not even UPS.
I'm sorry.
You've been parked there for 8 hours. You're coming from a
I
drug
used
house.
to be
So
UP
stop.
Where's the drug house?
What's your last name? Spell it. First name.
What's all this? Is it
It's
a
just
weapon?
no.
Put your hands on there.
Okay.
You want to go
I'm
on the ground?
sorry,
Knock
sir.
it off.
I'm sorry.
Middle name. Birthday.
Oh, pardon, look at this. You're getting detained. Put your hands back.
Is that a fucking gun? What is that?
I don't know. I found it.
I don't know. I found it. Oh boy.
You done with your frisk or no?
No, I'm not. Just felt something hard. I looked like a gun, and then apparently it was a gun.
Oh,
Are you a
boy.
felon?
No. Yes. I didn't know that.
Oh, look at that. Felon in
They're a
possession of
felon.
a
I
firearm.
didn't know that was like a real gun. I've never seen a gun that small. I just found
Oh.
it, sir.
Oh boy.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
Huh. This isn't Seattle. I know, that was funny. Do you see what they just did though? How they threw themselves down on the ground and started rolling around on the ground. Sort of comical, if you ask me. So you're saying it's not okay to do that? Yeah, pitching a fit. No, they threw themselves down on the ground to injure themselves. Yeah. Oh, there's more. Yeah, there's more. Just wait. There's more. Just wait. There's more. Here we go.
That is the worst fake seizure I have ever seen. Knock it off.
Snap out of it. You're having a seizure. I want to make sure you're okay. Stop. Breathe. Breathe. Oh,
Then stop pretending to have a seizure because you're not having a seizure.
I can't.
450.
I can't. I have seizures.
We have one fake seizure. Can you send fire?
30 degrees.
I'm
You're taking me.
sorry. I just.
Stop.
Affirmative.
Oh my God.
Partner, I found some dope too.
Shocking. I'm still trying to figure out how to unload this.
Well, first thing you do to unload it is you point it away from yourself for certain, because We totally legit USB UPS uniform now. Oh my God. Oh no. Yeah, so you're saying it's not okay to do that? Rosalind, you can show up my door anytime with your UPS uniform. I'm just saying. Those shorts are just so spectacular.
What's the problem with you?
I can't breathe.
Well, now your car's
Just take some slow, deep breaths. Did you get a good frisk? Make sure she doesn't have any other guns
I'm still
on there.
working on it because I don't want to get picked or stuck or
I
shot.
understand that.
Stop.
Did you use drugs today?
Did you use drugs today?
If you continue playing this game, I will tow your car. So stop.
Did you use any drugs today?
I can't breathe.
I can't breathe.
There's nothing obstructing your airway.
I know. It's not that.
Then what is it?
Stop.
Snap out of it. What is
I'm
it?
trying to.
What's the matter? Turn this side. I think we're in the recovery position.
Yeah, that's what we are. Stop.
Otherwise, left. Shoot. I'm still trying to figure out how to render this weapon safe.
Narcan. Looks like she's playing dead now.
That's a good point. I think I have Narcan in the back.
Oh, you're not dead then?
Oh.
So are you gonna stop being secret or what? Are you?
I'm going to jail anyway.
Are you gonna be short?
Oh, they're a felon. Yeah, with a pistol. It has feelings, yes.
Stop taking medical. So were you faking a seizure? Yes or no? It's not illegal to. Just tell me the truth. Were you just faking a seizure or not? Were you just faking a seizure? Okay. So you're gonna clean yourself up.
So do you need this Narcan or not? So I won't waste my life-saving medical supplies on this bullshit.
Pictures never work for me.
Stay on the job. Obviously, I don't know where the heck you think you are. We're not in Seattle. Just let me talk. Let me talk.
Did we get a finish? Did we finish the weapons first?
I'm working on it.
Okay, you need to stand up.
I can't stand up.
You're gonna stand up. Because you have one gun on you, we're gonna make sure you don't have another one. Now spread your feet apart and stand there and stop playing games.
Oh.
Do you have anything else on you other than a gun?
I found that, you guys. Like, I didn't know it was a real gun. It doesn't look like anything I've ever seen.
Uh-huh. Oh, but there's still more. There's still more. It gets better. It gets better. I'm telling you. There is more. Ah, yes. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Ah.
7 years wasn't long enough for you to learn.
Listen, you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you in court. You have the right to speak to an attorney and to have an attorney present with you while you're being questioned. If you can't afford to hire one, one will be appointed to represent you prior to questioning if you wish. Do you understand your rights as I've explained them to you?
Yeah, he said I might not
Okay,
go to jail.
you're being audio and video recorded. Having your rights in mind, do you want to make a statement?
Look at
No,
all
being hostile. I'm
this
asking
stuff
if you
they're
want to make a
hauling.
statement.
So listen, this is your time to be honest and be straightforward with my partner. I don't want to talk to you. You pissed me the fuck off. You had a gun. You're a felon. You're faking stuff. Now the fire department's gonna come over here. These people are taxpayers. You're wasting their time and money. So how about you talk to my partner? Be honest. With your rights in mind.
So let's start with question one. You don't live here. Why are you walking around on people's houses dressed like a UPS driver?
I went to go check out and see what the burnt house looked like.
The burnt house.
I was just looking at the burnt house.
Okay.
I didn't break in.
Did you were going into the burnt house?
I didn't go in.
Why
I
did
just,
She
I
color
didn't-
tattoos.
No, I just heard about it. They said it was super fried. And I just wanted to look at it.
How long have you been here?
Literally, I promise you, like hour and a half tops.
Okay. So
Yes,
the people
that's
that
a
said you've
woman.
been here for 8 hours are lying to me.
I promise on everything. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you again.
Where'd you get the UPS costume?
My friend had it.
Why are
She
you
used to
wearing
wear
it?
that. I just feel like people won't like look at me. I just wanted to
So
see
to
the house.
conceal your presence in the neighborhood, you're dressed like a UPS driver.
Yeah, but I
So what are
wasn't
you
trying
doing that you're not
steal
supposed to be
anything.
doing if you need to dress in a disguise?
Well, I just didn't want it to draw any attention when I was looking at the house.
Where did you get this gun?
I promise you, I didn't know it was real, sir.
Where'd you get it?
Over there.
Over where?
Yeah.
By
Yeah.
Brady Park, over by, you know where,
Party
Barry,
City.
the older guy, there's like a trap house over there.
Where, in what city?
Prairie Ridge.
And where did you find it?
It was like hidden, like over
Party
by one of
City is
the-
closed.
There's like 4 tall trees over there, and I mean, there's a drug addict. I did not know that was real food.
Okay.
I'm
There
a
it is.
felon, and
Yeah, it's real. It's loaded.
I
So why are you carrying it around on you?
I was just gonna sell it or something. I thought it was like an ivory antique or something. I didn't even know how to open it.
Okay, it's obviously a firearm.
I've never seen one of those. dude. I'm not lying to you. Like, I
don't believe that you found this out in the elements. It's not rusty enough to have been left out in the forest.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
How
Where did
long
you
it was
find
there. I promise you, that's how long.
Where'd you find it?
There's drug addicts and stuff there all the time. Like, I don't know if someone stole it or what.
Okay, so this is clearly labeled as a firearm.
How would
It's a
you know there's
high-standard
drug
Derringer
addicts there?
22 Magnum.
It's a woman.
You didn't, but you put it in your pocket, right?
Ah, yes. Oh, yes. And there's more. Oh, there's more. It is about to get crazy on her. It's about to get crazy on her. This next one. Oof, oof.
Why do you have handcuffs?
Because I'm a fuck up, guys.
No, that doesn't make any sense. Why do you have handcuffs?
I'm a
It's not because you're a fuck up. Why are you carrying a pair of handcuffs around in disguise, wearing gloves, carrying a gun?
Oh,
It doesn't look good, does it?
No,
What is this?
It's a pipe thing. My girlfriend.
It's ma'am.
Look,
You got anything else on you?
To get into rehab.
Okay.
I have. I just went to DSA just 2 days ago, and I got my insurance put back together. I don't want to go back to prison, sir.
That's not up to me, whether you go back to prison or not.
Can you not send me to jail? Like, I'll do anything. Like, anything.
I'll do anything.
I can't.
22.
So here's the problem we
Seriously?
have, okay, is you're in a neighborhood you don't
Yeah.
live in, dressed in disguise, with a loaded gun in your pocket, wearing gloves, with a face mask on, dressed like a UPS driver. What the fuck are you doing?
I don't know. I'm bored. I don't have any
You're
friends.
bored?
I'm
looks like you're
bored.
fixing
I
to
don't have any
kidnap somebody.
friends.
Sir, I promise. I
Oh my
promise. I
God.
just don't know how to be normal in this world. It's so much better. I don't want to go back there. I did not know that was good. If I go to jail right now, they're going to send me back to prison.
That's not my problem. I'm not the one that was doing what you're doing. That's you.
That's a
No,
you thing,
absolutely not.
sweetheart.
I got one.
You never got one
I
what?
started using it 8 months and I went to prison
Okay,
for
well then
10
you shouldn't be
years.
running around with a loaded gun in your pocket if you're a
I didn't
convicted
know.
felon.
I'll tell you, a lot of things that
Look,
She's acknowledged that she was faking the seizure. If you're good with that verbal, then there doesn't need to be any evaluation.
Okay, you don't want your blood pressure taken or anything like that? Okay, all right.
Okay, you're gonna have a seat in the back of the car, and just so you're aware, there's a
She ate a whole
camera
bowl
back
of
there that's gonna be
soup,
recording
didn't
you.
Andrew, listen, can you talk to me over? I literally was doing jokes for 6 months. I went to prison for
Male,
11
female.
years.
What the hell
Okay.
is that?
What does that to do with this?
I've been trying to get into rehab, and I'm sorry. I did not know that gun was loaded.
Okay.
Send me to
Well,
jail right
that
now.
doesn't matter to the fact that you're also lying to me. You're out here stealing shit or burglarizing a house. I'm not an idiot.
I would never
Then
do
why
that
are you
during
dressed
the
like a
day.
UPS driver in the middle of the day wearing gloves?
Why would I?
I don't know why you would do the things you do. I'm not you.
Out there,
Yeah, I
I'm
know.
not
A burn
lying
house
to
has
you.
been broken into 8,000 times. Sit down in the car. There's a camera back there filming you. You're under arrest for felon in possession of a firearm.
Oh, I love it. Oh, oh, jeez. Look at all the trash she was carrying around in her pockets. Oh, just crazy.
She's on camera
Just
knocking down
crazy.
one of the cameras at the burned down house.
Oh,
And she did admit to being at the burned down house.
Oh,
So this is so I see this.
yeah.
So she's going all the way, right? Going there, and then there.
I'll go talk to her. I thought you told me you didn't go in that burned down house.
I just walked in.
Homeowner's got video of you.
I didn't go inside
There's
of it.
cameras there.
I did
What
not
are you
go
doing on the
inside of
property?
it. I was just looking at it.
Why? Is it your house?
No, sir.
Then why are you looking at it?
I didn't go inside.
You went on the property. For
I
what?
I was just looking at the burnt stuff. I
For
didn't
what?
go inside.
Why?
I don't know. I was bored.
All right.
I-
Dealt with
I-
it.
Oh, I was bored. I don't know why. Hamster pants. Full storm. I named another puppy after your beautiful wife, Diva. Ooh. Ooh. Well, that's always a good name to have, Diva. Yeah. Yeah. Just don't call it Dictionary Diva. There's only one Dictionary Diva. That is the lovely Dictionary Diva that we all know and love. There is only one. There can only be one. Don't make her take the rest of them out. Oh my gosh. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. It's yeah, it's impressive that she couldn't pay any attention to all the BS that person was doing. Yeah, it's how did somebody put it? they put it just like this. I love that. I love that. Take a test and it comes back just like that. Everybody, have a wonderful day. I will see you on the backside tonight. Tonight is going to be very, very good. Because what we've got coming up tonight, here, let me bring this back up. What we've got coming up tonight is probably one of the best things that you're going to see on the YouTubes. Tonight, I'm going to have the wonderful Yamaha biker, if he's able to make it, and we're going to be reading some of Deuce's articles just for laughs. If you didn't watch last night, wait until Yamaha gets in, and I will tell you later on today, I will have edited out just that one special spot that's nothing but the story as read by Yamaha. It's going to be really good. But tonight we'll be going over to Rumble. We got something really interesting, I think, that everybody will want to see. But it'll only be on the Rumble side of things. And so I'll have a link for it whenever I do Rumble, whenever I do YouTube tomorrow or later today. I'll have that is exclusively up just to go over to Rumble, and it'll be good. It'll be really good. Trust me. If you haven't, it's gonna be glorious. It's gonna be glorious, and you'll want to see every damn minute of it. And yeah, don't be late. And if you are late, it's gonna be well worth being late. With that, I will see you guys. I'll see you guys in a few. And have a good day. Wherever you might be, however you might be, make it good. Peace.
Bless your heart. I thought I was the only mentally challenged one here.
Get it, yeah, oh yeah. Early morning, rise and shine. Coffee's brewing, feeling fine. News is out and on the air. Shizzy Whiz nuts wild, but we don't care. Morning Whiz and Coffee. Talk the news, he's a tease. Laugh it off, we're on the go. Shizzy Whiz nuts, start the show. Let's go. Get it, yeah, oh yeah. Headlines spinning in the breeze. Stupid jokes, he's such a tease. Sip the Java with a smile. Pants are off, but stay a while. Morning Whiz and Coffee. Talk the news, he's a tease. Laugh it off, we're on the go. Shizzy Whiz, let's start the show. Let's go. Get it, yeah, oh yeah. Headlines spinning in the breeze. Stupid jokes, he's such a tease. Sip the Java, wear a smile. Pants are off, but stay a while. Morning Whiz and Coffee. Talk the news, he's a tease. Laugh it off, we're on the go. Shizzy Whiz, let's start the show. Let's go. Get it, yeah, oh yeah. Serious is overrated. Every day we're caffeinated. Talk the town, but in a jest. Morning Whiz is always best. Clock is ticking, time to run. Morning show's a load of fun. Grab your mug, don't spill a drop. Laugh your ass off till you pop. Clock is ticking, time to run. Morning show's a load of fun. Grab your mug, don't spill a drop. Laugh your ass off till you pop.
Oh my god, Shizzy breaks Larry. Shizzy broke Larry.
Oh yeah.
Make sure you show Mo